apparently I'm an idiot. We had a whole conversation. I never recorded it. So this is actually the second version of the same conversation done over again. Enjoy, everybody. On the ComedyPreneur Show, I'm James Creviston, and I don't know if you saw the little intro I did a minute ago, but I forgot to record this first version of this interview with David Studebaker. He's a great friend of mine. He's an animal activist, a guy who loves the world. He's just so kind and generous and loving. Everything about him is positive and happy and joyful, and I'm his complete opposite. I'm not that way. I like terrible things that he doesn't. You'll see how great of a guy he is. But he's going to talk to us about doing comedy for a cause. That means his show, David's Ark, where he helps animals rescue places. He does benefits for all kinds of things. He's just an all-around good guy. So if you have a cause that you believe in, and you want to learn more about how to raise awareness, money, all that kind of stuff for those causes, this is the episode for you. So let's get going. All right, please welcome to the show, Mr. David Studebaker. This time we are recording, so I do apologize.
No, it's all good.
So
all
does
good.
That horse have a name in the background, by the way? I'm just curious. The horse on the thing, is that like a horse?
No, it's when my wife and I first moved down to LA, we were at a discount furniture store and we were buying all of our furniture, and my wife raised horses. Her mom has a horse ranch, and so we saw it and it was like a great deal. I was like, yeah, let's have a big old horse in our living room. Why not? Right?
Awesome. So kind of give everybody your origin story about where you came from, how you got started, and then how you got into doing comedy for causes. I mean, because that's a really big part of what you do. I know that's not your whole thing, but you're really good at it, and you really do help a lot of people and animals and stuff like that.
Thank you. Yeah. So I started, glad we had a rehearsal, so I can really give it to you. So yeah, I started doing comedy 11 years ago in San Francisco, and did it for 6 years there, and then moved to LA 5 years ago. And I was always in, like, animal wise, I was always into animals, and I would donate to things like the World Wildlife Fund and stuff like that. But I never really did much. My wife is actually much more, life has been much more involved in rescuing animals. Her mom is really involved in a lot of animal causes. She fosters lots of pregnant dogs and she rescued a camel. So we actually did an episode on her of David's Ark. But yeah, so, and then I've done stuff for not just animals. I've done, my brother has a foster youth organization. He helps teens in foster care who are kind of at the deep end, who have dealt with drug and alcohol issues and stuff like that. So I've done a show and a video for them. Jason Love, a comedian down in LA, I've done a lot of his cancer support shows. There's the past couple of years, I've hosted the big celebrity awards gala at the Beverly Hilton. And it's for Last Chance for Animals, which is a really big animal rights organization. And a lot of people who are much more famous than me go there, and I tell some jokes and host the show. And that's a swanky event. That is, as I'm sure you can imagine, there's some money in Beverly Hills. So as I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment, I see some things that are much better off. But so yeah, so I got into animals, though. I was watching 2.5 years ago, I was watching Chasing Coral on Netflix, and it's about how the coral reefs are dying, and I just at the end felt so depressed. And it was a great documentary, but like I felt like I wanted to do something, but I was like, I don't know really what I can do. And then I was thinking about how, like, every nature documentary I watch or animal documentary, I end up just leaving depressed. And they do show good things that people are doing for the environment, but a lot of it is like, here are the problems that are going on. Here are the really bad things. And there's a place for that. But I kind of wanted to do something that just showed that talked about the bad things humans are doing to animals, but really centered around really amazing people and the work they're doing, and that hopefully would inspire people to, with humor and animals and all that, but inspire people to either donate to those people or get inspired to get involved themselves, or just have better awareness of it, and kind of draw them in a more joyful, winsome way. So, and also I had done stuff for, there's a cable network that Participant Media started called Pivot, and it's now gone, but it was all about good causes and kind of bringing entertainment and good causes together. And so I hosted a couple things for them, like a man on the street thing, where I went around interviewing people about recycling. And I was like, well, if I can make recycling funny, I'm sure I can bring some humor to animal stuff in the environment. So so that's kind of where we just got I called up Luke LaCoy, your co-host of the Clean Comedy podcast, and I didn't even know this. I just knew he had a camera and he was interested in filmmaking. I didn't even know he is an environmental engineer. So comedian, cameraman, environmental engineer, pretty good combination. And I had my brother, he was kind of our first investor in it, and he funded a large portion of it. And so that's kind of the broad strokes. Oh, and No Paws Left Behind. I did a fundraiser show for them at the San Francisco Punchline a while back. So
now, who would you want to be the #1 sponsor of David's Ark? Like, if you get a company or someone, a partnership or something like that, who would you want to get with to help support David's Ark? Because what you're doing is a great thing for animals, right? You're showing people that, like, I did the pit bull one with you where it was a pit bull rescue, and then we did the one in San Francisco with the marine mammals and all stuff.
And then with Pitbull the rapper as well. That was
Pitbull the rapper, yeah. But that was a very, trying. We flew from LA to Africa. I don't know.
Chasing that guy, Mr. Worldwide, Dale. Yeah, so you were saying, though.
Oh, yeah, but so who would you want to partner with or sponsor with for David's Ark? Like your dream group of people, like maybe the World Wildlife Fund, or like a business that supports good causes or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. First off, what I would say is that what we really want is a cable or streaming network and a production company connected with them to give us the funds and the platform to really take this to the next level in terms of where we can go and the exposure we can get. Because we've won some awards and film festivals for it, and although it lives online, it lives on YouTube and Facebook and my website, we made it, the way I edited it, the way I did it is TV and streaming style. It's not in the, hey, I'm Wacky Guy and I'm here going to the bathroom at this place in the desert, let's go see it. Like the stuff that works, or like the stuff that works on YouTube, like the algorithm really likes things that cause a lot of conflict, that gets a lot of, stuff going on comment boxes and stuff like that. So we're not quite built for that intentionally. So having a partner, we do have some ideal partners, one of which we had some meetings with, and it at the last minute didn't go through. So it could have been on something very big. But I'm not going to say any of these because there are a couple others that we may go to, but you're not supposed to talk about it. So, but that would be the first thing. The second thing, it's kind of interesting because part of what I love with the show is kind of like the show Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, where where Guy Fieri goes to places where you would never hear, like you had no idea who these, like what this tiny restaurant is in Hoboken. Right. But so part of what I love to do is like No Paws Left Behind. It's just, one woman in Bakersfield saving thousands of dogs and cats you would never even know about. So part of but I also do love highlighting much bigger ones like the Marine Mammal Center, which to me, in terms of smoothness, is our best, in my opinion, just in terms of it's just so polished, and it kind of really hits all the different aspects of what I want with the show. And they're much bigger. They're the largest marine mammal hospital in the world. But again, even still, if you ask someone, even in within an hour of the Marine Mammal Center in Sausalito, they may have no idea that it even exists. So again, it's showing these things that you wouldn't necessarily know about, and instead of maybe taking $5 off of the budget for the 17th streaming network or whatever, giving $5 to them is a cool thing. So yeah.
Well, and what about like a sponsor? Like if there was like a company, like who's like
Well,
your
go macro bars. Without even asking, they've sent me free bars in the past when I tweeted about them, but they haven't asked us for anything. But Go Macro bars, they're an energy bar that I have more food allergies and sensitivities than maybe anyone on the planet, and if I can eat them, you can eat them. Anyone can eat them. So they are incredibly good for the environment with the way what they do, and also just really healthy. So they've been mentioned on the show more times than any other product. So they already are kind of a sponsor, even though they're not giving me any money. I'm sponsoring them for free. But
Go back where you start sponsoring David Studebaker.
Yeah, I need to reach out to them. I that's the stuff I'm not as good with. I just make the art and put it out there. But yeah, they're one. I mean, yeah, the World Wildlife Fund. I donate to them. They're incredible. So, but yeah, if there'd be a sponsor, Coca-Cola. No.
So what would be like what's the one place?
BP Oil.
What's the one place that you really want to go to do a David's Ark episode? Like your dream place to go talk about? Is it like Carol Baskin's Animal Rescue or the you do?
Yeah, and we'll talk Tiger Kings. We talked about that in the rehearsal, and we'll get on that. But one thing I really want to do that, again, having a real bigger budget behind us, is I would love to go out with like 4Ocean. They're a company that goes out in the middle of the ocean, and they take tons, millions of tons of plastic out of the ocean, and then they turn it into like bracelets, and they upcycle it into different things, and they sell those, and T-shirts and different stuff. So that'd be one, like, I'd really want to go out on a ocean plastic run, cleaning that up. So things like that where and where we can really immerse in things where just we don't have the money or the time or resources to and also you get into liability issues. You need insurance if you're going to do that kind of a thing. So that would be that's one that I definitely really would love to do.
What about the dudes that chase the whalers, the Japanese whaling ship guys? You know what I'm talking about? The ones that used to be on like Discovery or whatever. Those guys are cool.
Yeah, I'm impressed with what they do. I'm not super interested about getting shot, and that is the difference. That you would, I know. If David's Ark, if you were the host of David's Ark, it'd be a very different show. There'd be more violence, and there would be more you just going in like punching people in the face and like, hey, I heard you were messing with that whale. Poof. But I again, that's what separates me. I don't even like I fall into the animal activist category, but the people who are the real like the people at Last Chance for Animals, the stuff they do, the undercover operations they do, and like there's like these people are putting their lives on the line. So me, I'm not. I don't have that kind of courage, yeah. So no, you won't. Hopefully, I won't be in any gunfire.
Yeah. It just sounds like fun. I used to love it. I don't even remember what it was called. It was
I
like,
can just see you with a bazooka going up to one of the illegal whaling ships.
So
he is a veteran.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is. So if somebody wanted to get involved in causes or whatever, and they wanted to really use their comedy celebrity, their stand-up, whatever, for causes, what would be your advice to them to kind of move towards that? I mean, besides the donating or tweeting or whatever, but like, what could they really do to get involved that would help raise funds for whatever their favorite cause is or support their favorite cause?
Yeah. So, I mean, the tweeting and all that, especially if you have a lot of followers, that is something where organizations will work with you. They'll give you money sometimes, but that's a big way where you can maybe take a break from butt pictures to do something. Maybe you're going to take the butt picture, maybe have like the logo of
Save the Whales
organization on like a butt cheek or something. So that's been my problem. Not enough butt pics on Instagram. Although I may lose followers. I think I would lose followers. So it's a no-win. But the best thing you can do, I mean, well, as comedians, if we're talking, just stand-up comedians, there's a lot of opportunities where, even if it's a show where it doesn't bring in a lot of money, because I hate to burn the mystique of the comedypreneur, but comedy does not typically pay tons of money in the live stand-up realm.
That's what we talk about. That's the whole point of this.
Yeah,
people that
getting creative. Creative.
Getting creative, and then most of your money cannot be made on stand-up unless you're, Jerry Seinfeld or whatever. But even most of his money was not made on stand-up.
Or if you're willing to have no family, no life, and sleep with bed bugs on the road for the rest of your life. So we'll get into that later. So one of the things that, like, even with a show, the best example, my brother's the king of this. So all credit on this goes to my brother, because he is very impressive. His foster organization called Dress to Soar, they provide clothes and job training to, he's a men's clothing stylist. So he started this where his clients would donate used clothes that were gently used. They spend thousands of dollars on new clothes. They wear it once or twice. They donate it. And he helps foster you through that and takes them on shopping sprees, blah, blah, blah. But that he has a lot of prominent businessmen and people in the Sacramento, Roseville area who support it. So as a comedian, I partnered with him where we did a comedy show. I headlined the show at the Sacramento Punchline. And yes, there were the ticket sales, which a lot of, like, the Live Nation clubs, like the Punchline in San Francisco, Sacramento, Cobb's, they're really amazing. They'll give you a cut rate on the room rental if it's for a nonprofit. But you have to have like a 501c that the check goes to. You can't just be like, yes, it's a nonprofit. It's the David Studebaker Needs More Diapers Foundation. Give me the cut rate. So you do that. Now, based on that show, we packed the place. It was, you probably made $2,000 in ticket sales, which is amazing. But what he did is he worked out sponsorships with the various businesses and people who support the organization, and they normally will support donate, but because it was a really big event that he got press, I did a couple morning TV shows about it, and we did some radio spots. Because he had press and they knew it was going to be packed, he was able to get them to sponsor the show. So he got, I would say, probably $30,000 worth of sponsorships off the show with different things that you would get. They gave a lot. They'd get on all the flyers and we'd shout out on TV and yada, yada. And then they also did, at the end of the show, a live auction. I kind of like silent auctions. Again, I'm bad with the money stuff. I'm always like, I don't like asking for money. But it's effective. And so that's a way where, like, you have the comedy show that you can bring, but then there are people if you go to basically any organization you really love, and they have the apparatus to gain sponsors and to do this for an event. So you can provide them with the event, you can provide them with an audience and all that, and they'll help bring an audience as well. But just by bringing a good show around that, they can build out a whole fundraising apparatus. And then, Last Chance for Animals, their yearly celebrity gala, that they bring in that's like a huge operation. That is massive. And you could, they're very impressive. But that's the way. Now, what I will say, Clean Comedy Podcast with James and Luke, I would recommend, as a comedian, even if your heart's in the right place, if you're going to do one of these shows, you're going to want to at least work the muscle. Even if you're a great, edgy, filthy comedian on most times, typically if you want to raise money for a good cause and people are putting money, you really need to be clean, or at least clean-ish, and not, save all of the really edgy stuff. That's not what you're there for. Like, when I do these shows, I'm there for a reason. Yes, I want to give everyone a good time, but it's not the time for me to workshop really edgy stuff. You're there to entertain and to raise money, and so having that skill, which it is a skill, it takes practice and time, and there's a lot of comics where even if their material isn't dirty, they'll use F-bombs as pauses. So like it's built in. It's just second nature. Or if sometimes if if your first reaction to being threatened or someone's coming at you is to swear, or like you hit your foot and you swear, then on stage there's going to be things that happen where like you're off. It's like emotionally stubbing your toe, and it's going to be your first reaction. So I would say when I first started, I would swear on stage, and then I was told that, hey, you can make a lot more money and reach a lot more people if you're able to be clean. So I just went like a year where I never swore in daily life. I would catch myself. I wouldn't do it. And then once you stop doing it in daily life, then it's really easy on stage.
Yeah, that's good advice. So where can people follow you, find out more about David Zark, about the causes that you support and things like that? Where can they go find that information at?
Well, I mean, we haven't talked about Tiger King yet. You asked me about Tiger King in the last one. And
I didn't want anybody to get sued because I was really, after you said something, I was like, oh, maybe we shouldn't talk about that. She's sue happy. I don't want to get involved.
No, you won't get sued. In the previous iteration of this interview, James asked me if I watched. I did watch Tiger King. And again, there you go. Conflict, crazy people, awful people, driving algorithms. He asked if I would ever highlight Carol Baskin's place, and I said no, I'm not rich enough to get sued by her because she'll sue you for anything. And I confirmed, I might confirm my belief that it's clear she killed her husband. I don't know if she fed him to tigers. It's plausible, but clearly, I've never seen such an obvious murder and disappearance. I mean, even like the way she changed the will, it was literally like, in the event that I'm murdered by my wife, all my money goes to my wife. So yeah, she definitely, and also if I may say the wrong thing, one of those volunteers who are slavishly devoted to her, if I make the wrong joke, I might get just pushed into the wrong pen. So no, I am not. And again, and we brought it up in the last one because, zoos are a controversial thing. And one thing that I didn't like about that is there are a lot of, zoos that aren't really zoos where they're treating animals horribly and it's terrible. But like the ones they showed, those aren't even zoos. Those are just like, it's like a guy's backyard with a cage and 700 tigers in it. And the things that like Doc Antle and like the whole thing of using, like taking the baby cubs away from the moms to go get some pictures, like that's, that's awful. And so there are zoos where they do incredibly good conservation work, and where the animals that are brought to them, like they couldn't live out in the wild. And they do work really, really diligently to make sure it's as good a life as possible for the animals. So it's a really complicated thing. And there's certain animals that just aren't meant for captivity, but, again, not a lot of nuance in that thing. Also, I heard that it's the same guys the editors of that are the same editors who did the Fire Festival documentary. Yeah. And that was a whole, it was great. It was, but the thing is, very manipulative. Like the same people who funded the Fire Festival documentary are the same people who funded the Fire Festival. So there's just it's a little funky monkey, but I couldn't stop watching. I mean, it was, and Joe Exotic. I mean, really, and sadly, he was lip syncing in those. Apparently, it was like a combo. Like he had a singer sing over it, but apparently, I listened to the directors get interviewed. Or no, I listened to a guy who did another research thing on it, and there's a band that he got that music from. But like, I was like, man, he should have just done country music and not, abused all those tigers. He could have had a real career. So,
well, all right.
And dang, I'm not going to be able to alienate all those people like I did in the last one.
Sorry. So where can people find you so that you can alienate them more? How about that?
Oops, I didn't hit record.
I hit record this time.
Stuff of David, that David. We had some good stuff on that last one.
I'm sorry.
What I'm doing here is what I did in the last one. So James wanted to get me off because he didn't want me to say anything controversial. And then I just kept talking and talking and talking. We had some good stuff. It's okay. But they can find me at davidstudebaker.com, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at David Studebaker. And for the David's Ark, Facebook.com/David's Ark Show, no apostrophe. So, but yeah,
David's Ark on YouTube.
On YouTube, just you can search David's Ark. My channel is if you just search David Studebaker or Studebaker Comedy, I think is the channel name. But yeah, it's all my stand-up videos, David's Ark. All of that's on. But yeah, subscribe to the YouTube if you could, because apparently that's a thing.
Yeah. So it's a thing. So thank you, David Studebaker, for being on here. I appreciate it. Thank you for doing another episode.
Do you want to do a third one? Was that one not that great?
This one went great. So, all right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being on. And guys, like, subscribe, follow, and then also like and subscribe and follow David Studebaker, because he's doing a lot of good stuff with David's Ark. So thank you. Get ready for more episodes of the ComedyPreneur Show, where we help you turn your funny into money, including in ways that can help animals, causes, whatever you're into. That's what we're here about. So thank you so much, and have a good one.